See, it's funny. I think about this all the time. And again, my cynicism might kick in here, and I'll speak for myself. I'm just curious your take for it. Like, part of the reason I do this podcast, part of the reason I do some of the things, I started a YouTube channel as well. And like when I first did it, I don't know that I really thought enough about why I did it. But as I thought more about it, I think my answer would be similar to yours of like, I don't know. I feel like there's something I could give and there's an impact to be made and maybe people could be helped. And I think that's true. When I continue to like press on that thread though, sometimes I question myself, like, is it more ego driven though for me? Like, am I doing it because like it definitely feels good to help people, but in that, like, is that okay that it feels good to help people? Is that just because I want people to think that like I'm smarter or that I have some power to help people? And I'm by no means suggesting that's you, but I do think it is a fine line that we walk when we want to do these things and we want to make this impact. Some people can look at that and say like there's a degree of ego involved in it, and maybe that's fine, maybe that's a good thing. How do you think about that? How do you think about that? It kind of goes back to what we were talking about before, like that selfish versus selfless nature of it. How do you think about that for you?
Yeah, I think you raised a very good point by saying that, and I never thought about it, but now it's making me think. And I find it's like it's so hard to give an answer because, like, for instance, I was recently like featured on a website, and I never thought I was going to be featured. And I was telling my friend, "Oh, I feel like a celebrity." I
Yeah.
actually told her that. I told her like I really do feel like a celebrity. I have people from my company messaging me and adding me on LinkedIn
And
because
that's
they probably
awesome,
saw.
right? That's an
That's
awesome
awesome,
thing. Yeah.
right? That's awesome. And it makes me really conscious when I'm like walking on the street or like walking in the company if people actually know who I am. Um, and I don't know if if there is ego there. I actually
What
I
does it feel
don't
like
know.
when you were on that cover, using that example? What is the feeling that you get? Was it more, and maybe it's complicated, right? Maybe it's mixed feelings, but was it more like, hey, that feels good because I accomplished something? Was it more like, hey, that's great, people are going to learn about me and maybe I'll help more people? Or was it like, it's pretty friggin' awesome to be on a magazine cover? Like, because if I'm being honest, that's how I would think of it too. And I'd be like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I would probably say, yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
And I probably just say, okay, I will just continue doing what I'm doing. But the thing, so that's the thing about me. I feel like the more I am featured into these things, the more I feel that power of like global domination. That's
Mm,
how I feel. So I feel like that also is driving me
mm.
to do more things. Um,
That's an
so I
interesting
don't,
phrase. So world dominate. That's interesting. That's an interesting way. What do
yeah.
you mean by, say more about that? What do you mean by that?
So I actually watched this interview from this Indian actress, and she said global domination, and I was just thinking. So I feel very inspired by her, even though she's like not my favorite actress. But
Yeah.
everything she does, I think she does it really well. She works really hard. She does a lot of like humanitarian job. She has like hairline, her shampoo or something like. She has like hairline. Some skincare stuff. Like she has a bunch of stuff. She has a restaurant, and I was thinking, I was looking at her, and I was like, she does all these things. I think I probably want to do the same thing. And she said in one of the interviews, I'm all about global domination,
Mm.
and that's what I was like. I think I'm all about that too. So I think for me, it just really means to get my face or get myself out there as much as possible in everywhere in the world. That's what it means for me. So
How
people
does
can
how does
get to
that
know me.
balance to the altruism? Like, is it still a means to an end because you think if you do that, it'll help the most people? Or again, if you're
Yeah.
being super honest, is it more like if I have to sacrifice the altruism a little bit, but it gets me that global
No,
domination, it's cool. Like,
no,
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 okay,
no, it's
yeah,
not that.
yeah,
Like dominate the world, but getting
by
like
doing
with the
good.
goal, yeah, by doing good and
Yeah.
helping others. That's my main goal, I would say. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And how, like, so I know that the finance stuff and women and women's empowerment is big for you. Is that when you think about doing good? I was going to ask how you define that. Is it geared around that, or is there like a more higher level, more macro view of like what it means to do good in the world?
Yeah, I would say it's more, yeah, it's a more general term. Like for me, doing good, it just really means helping other people. And it doesn't have to be just financially. It could be also non-financially. Like it could be just by sharing knowledge, for instance,
Mm,
or just by guiding people. So, for instance, I do help many organizations financially. Like I'm a monthly donor for different organization that I am part of. I think like I believe in those causes, so I do like to give like provide financial support. But for other organizations that I'm part of, I'm just like, for instance, a mentor. So I do like to share my knowledge about things that I do in life. Like I had someone contacting me and was like, I want to become like better public speaking. I want to be a bit more confident. So I would just share my stuff. And I think for me, that's what it means. Just being able to help people in all the means that you can, in all the way that you can. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
This is going to sound like a weird question. I always say this when I ask it, but so I'm going to ask why. And by that, I mean, it sounds weird because it's like you're talking about helping people. And like, what do you mean, why would I want to help people? Because I help it. But like, what's it rooted in for you? Is it rooted in, as I often say, like, is it rooted in some form of like faith or religion that's the right thing we're supposed to do? Is it rooted in like, what's the why behind why helping people is so important to you?
You do ask a lot of interesting questions, I would say.
I warned
you. Why I do all these things. It's so interesting that I never thought about it. Like if you ask me why, I think it's, there is this quote by Kate Spade that says, leave a little sparkle everywhere you go or something. I think that would be probably my why. Like I do like to leave that sparkle in every person's life or in every person that I meet. It could be just a smile and make their day better, or it could be just, helping them to find themselves in the street or something. So it's really
is it like an obligation? Like, do you feel, I've spoken to some people where they feel like it's a moral obligation. As people, we all have our own gifts. We all have our own blessings in life. So like, it's an obligation to give back, to help others and bring them some joy in your life. Do you feel, if I'm being honest, I don't know if I necessarily see it that way, but is that how you view it? Like, it's just what we're supposed to do? Or maybe if I'm being honest, for me, sometimes it's more rooted in like, it just feels good. It makes me feel good to help them. And I know that's a good thing to do. Like, what's the sensation, I guess, that comes with it?
So when you say the word obligation, like I'm not sure if I like to associate this with the word obligation, because when I hear the word obligation, I associate it with need. Like you do it because you feel the need to do it. But the way I like to see it is more like I want to
do it.
Because I think it's much more spontaneous, much more sincere, and much more genuine in the whole gesture. So I do it not because I feel like I have to, but because this is something that I want to do.